Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
Hello and welcome to Edupedia World.
Hello, welcome to SAP UI5 training session. Till now what we have seen how to install Eclipse and few basics of SAP UI5. So we already discussed what is JavaScript and HTML5 and jQuery and little bit of CSS. Now I'll take you through SAP UI5. So as we know, SAP UI5 is an extensible JavaScript library, and these are the components. When we run any SAP UI5 project, these are the runtime scenarios and design time. When we run any SAP UI5 project, we see these files, control libraries will be loaded, such as JavaScript, CSS, images file. And another one at runtime is core libraries. Core are basically JavaScript files. Every time there are JavaScript files. The next is test suite. Whenever we run this application, we have to test something. So we'll be doing it on HTML. That's the reason we'll be using a browser to run our SAP UI5 application. The next is design time. How we design SAP UI5 application. First, we need any application development. So that is Eclipse. We'll be using throughout the course Eclipse, and how to design any SAP UI5 application. We'll be seeing that. Now, next, how do we control the development? There are development tools available in Eclipse that we'll be using it, such as jQuery formatter, JavaScript formatter, XML formatter, etc. So we have to use those formatters to format our code, as well as we have some other libraries where we can make use of it and run our application in a better way. And the next is resource handler, that is available in Java as well as ABAP. When we deploy our application in any of the repository, maybe it may be ABAP or Java AS, that time we can handle the resources through Eclipse. That means, have you heard of any Git repository or any source control? Yeah, when it comes to ABAP, we have something called transports. Whenever you make any changes, you will be releasing that transport request, right? So when we release transport request, it will go to the server and update your code. Whatever the changes you make, it will be updated when you release the transport request. Similarly, in Eclipse, we can write the code, make changes, then we need to push our code to some source control. In ABAP, we do it to the ABAP workbench, ABAP server stack. Here, we do it to the Git or ABAP repository or any PSP application or HANA. Okay. And while designing the application, we'll have something called theming. This is the main thing to look and feel, and SAP has already provided 2 themes that I'll discuss in the class, in the training session. The 2 themes which are available from SAP is SAP_Blue Crystal and SAP_Gold Reflection. I'll use this in our practice sessions. That time you can see the difference. The next, when you run SAP UI5 application, These are the browsers. As we discussed before, after developing the application, we have to test our application. So to test our application, because SAP UI5 is a web-based application, we can run this in any of the web browser. These are the available web browser. We can make use of it. One is Internet Explorer. When it comes to Internet Explorer, the version 8 onwards, our SAP UI5 application will be displayed properly without any difficulty. And Firefox. In Firefox, we have different versions. So version 10 onwards, our SAP UI5 application will work. When it comes to Chrome, this is the best I feel throughout. From version 1 itself, our application works. So there are so many development tools also, I'll discuss later. But in Chrome, we can do debugging, everything in an easy way. So throughout the course, I'll be using Google Chrome and show you the applications. And we can also test in Safari. So when it comes to Safari, the version 3 onwards, it supports. And one more thing important, when it is in Internet Explorer, from Internet Explorer 8, it is supported. But there are some CSS changes which we make, and that will be used. So, for example, if you have an application, a SAP UI5 application, and you have opened that application in Internet Explorer 8, then you see some changes, some CSS changes. Suppose your button is not displaying the text properly, or your button is not positioned properly, then what you do is you will be applying CSS only to that particular version, Internet Explorer. So that is nothing but custom CSS. CSS is already provided by SAP UI5 framework, but if you want any custom CSS, then we'll be using custom CSS classes. So the next one is the architecture. So we are going to develop so many applications in future. Before that, we'll start up with the architecture. How the SAP UI5 application work and where does your code, whatever you write, sits. Let us think as an end user. End user is a mobile application. It can be any tablet. It can be any desktop. We'll take these three scenarios and look into the architecture. Our SAP UI5 application is built. Now I am accessing from my mobile. So the first is we need a browser in that mobile. So these are the runtime libraries available. So if you want to, whenever you develop any code, if you want your target audience are mobile and tablet, then you have to use sap.m library, and sap.ui commons is for desktop and tablet. When your target audience are tablet and desktop, that time you can use this. So when your target audience are SAP mobile and tablet applications, then you can use sap.m. So this is the view what you see, the application. Before that, there will be controllers which will be controlling with the view and your models. The models are nothing but the data, raw data which is coming from some other database. As we know, in web applications will not have any database like SQL, MySQL, Oracle, etc. But indirectly we can make use of it. How? Through web services. We have to write web service to pull data from particular server and display it, and you can use those data, means those web services, in your application. It means, in a simple way, you can consume data from web services. So after writing the code, your code sits in application client side. Whatever you write, it will be client side. Just now I spoke about web services, and you will be exposing your code to outside world. So that time the application server is required. Okay. When we do it locally, only application client is enough. So when you expose to outside world, then application server come into the picture. So these are application servers will be used for UI5 architecture. The first one is network gateway, ABAP. The another one is network AS Java, and another one is network cloud that you have that is in the market right now. Another one is SAP HANA. And whenever you have a SAP backend like tables, ABAP tables, or any of these tables, you can make use of it through a network gateway. There is a concept called network gateway which develop web services and give it to UI5 application. So it can be any of the formats. So that will be exposed and consumed in our applications. So DB can directly be consumed also and create an OData service. But from SAP, due to security reasons, we'll be having a network gateway, and that gateway will fetch the data and will send it to the UI5 application. So this is the overview architecture of SAP UI5. Once again, I'll explain. Whenever we develop any SAP UI5 application, we need IDE, application server, and web server. IDE is to develop your code. Application server is to run your application. Web server is to test your application. Here, application servers are different types. Network gateway as ABAP, network gateway as Java, network cloud, SAP HANA extension. As we are aware of HANA, then we can develop HANA tables, create tables, and make use of those tables and write a code where we can consume our SAP UI5 application. So network gateway, SAP backend. From SAP backend, we can create a service that will be exposed to our application. So UI5 libraries and runtime sits here in the browser you'll be seeing, but it will be communicating with application server every time whenever you make a call. And when you see this code, at the end it will come as an output as an SAP UI5 application. So depending on your target audience, you will be seeing the application, different types of views. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. So these are the control libraries. As we explained, SAP UI.Commons is used for desktop. SAP UI.UX3 is used for desktop as well as tablet. SAP UI.Table is for desktop, SAP.M is for mobile devices. Okay. So what we see is now libraries, different type of libraries. So we'll make use of these libraries and see how it works and how to write a code in SAP UI5 Eclipse IDE. So as of now I have Eclipse IDE. I'll make use of that, and throughout the course I'll be using this Eclipse only, as we already seen how to install Eclipse in our local machine. Now what we're going to do is we'll use that Eclipse and develop SAP UI5 applications. So this is the Eclipse which we have downloaded and installed SAP UI5 plugins. If you want to check whether the SAP UI5 plugin is already existing or not, go to Help, About Eclipse. Then you will see so many icons here. So here we see SAP UI5. So it means we have already successfully installed SAP UI5. And what version it is? It is 1.20.9. We can upgrade it also whenever we want. Close. Installation details also will come. So here also we can check. See, these are already installed. If you want to upgrade it, you can upgrade it, or if you want to uninstall it, you can uninstall it. So update it. I'm just checking the updates. So it will take some time and we'll give you the updates if any update is available. Okay. See, there are some things going on. So this is how the update takes place, and similarly you can uninstall also SAP UI5 if you want to. Yeah, this is how we check the updates. Now we see there are no updates at all. So the version whatever we have seen, 1.20.9, that is the latest version available. So now, how to create a project in SAP UI5? What we have to do is there are two ways you can do. Right click here and you'll say new project. You can do like this, or you can go to file, new, and you can create a project. In this project, we have to type SAP UI5. So here we have application project. You can select this, say next, and you can write project name. I'm writing demo app. Project is already existing because initially we give a location. When we start Eclipse, we give a workspace. Workspace in the sense where whatever the projects we create, that will be stored in this particular location. Okay, and the demo app is already existing. So what I do is I'll take some other name, demo app 2. I'll take. Okay, see, the name is available, so we can make use of this project name. So use default location. If you want to change the location also, you can change. Okay, you can browse and you can do. So as of now, I'll be doing a default location because whatever projects I have created, it should sit in this particular folder. And the next, we have to choose the library. This is a target library. For example, if you want to use this application in desktop, so you have to choose SAP UI.Commons. But if you want to use this application in mobile, previously we have discussed, when it is SAP.M, the target audience are mobile and tablet. When we choose SAP UI Commons, or SAP.UI/UX, UX shell or something, that is for desktop and tablet. So now my intention is to choose desktop, and this is the option, create initial view. I'll talk about this later in the next example. Let us create the project using a target audience as desktop, and I have to say finish. Once I say finish, then this is the folder structure by default comes. So demo app 2. This is what we have given as a project name. And next, in this we have a development descriptor. Development descriptor is nothing but the project information. By default it comes. So there are few references, servlets in the sense, if you know Java, yeah, this is a Java related servlets. So we are not using anything Java related, but it creates. Okay. So this is the web services. If you want to add a web service here, you can use the web services here. Okay. But don't worry about this much, but everything is possible inside this web content. I'll tell you what it is exactly. So basically there are resources which will be loaded. So to run our application, we need a framework. We have the framework called SAPUI5. SAPUI5 framework has a list of resources. So those resources will be sitting here somewhere. Here, see, SAPUI.core libraries are already existing, and even JRE related libraries are already there. To run your application, we need everything. So what is required? Everything will be loaded in this JavaScript resources. If you want to use any JavaScript functions, so these are here. So whatever is required to run your application, everything sits here. Okay, till the build. Okay, and then web content. Web content is nothing but where you write your code. Whenever you run your application, the first thing will be executed is index.html. Where is this index.html? It is in web content folder. So in this web content, index.html. Now you may ask this question, why index.html? Why not? If you have done any programming languages before, there is, if you take a C language, there is a main method, void main we use. Why we use void main? So we are telling that use or execute this program as the first program. If you want to get into the room, you have to enter from this door, right? If it is one door, you'll be entering into that room from that particular door. If there are 2-3 rooms, then you'll be confused which door you have to go from. So that's the reason to this particular program also we are telling index.html need to be executed first. So where we are declaring this index.html need to be executed first is here. In web enough, there is a web.xml. In this, okay, go to source. In this, we are telling. We have written something called XML, but the already framework does this. So welcome file list. So here you can declare your index.html. So whatever the file name you give, it will be executed for. And one more thing, index.html is there, right? You can't change the extension. It has to be always HTML. The first file which will be loaded will be HTML, index.html for this program. And the rest of the things we'll discuss later about this web.xml file. So as of now, just we have declared here saying that welcome file list, first execute index.html. So if you want to add any extra libraries, you can add it here in this particular folder. So meta-INF also, this has some information. You can write it down. Manifest file. Okay. So index.html file will be loaded first. So what is written in this index.html? We'll see that now. In this index.html, we start with HTML as a script. This is a tag which we use, document type HTML. This is for the declaration of versions we use. So this is HTML5. So we use in this way. We start with HTML tag. In this HTML tag, whatever we write, that will be executed in your page. So in this we have two parts. One is head, another one is body. Head is the headers. Whatever we write, it will be on the top. Body, whatever we write in the body, that we can see. So in this head, we have meta information, like we can say metadata. So in this metadata, we are using http-eq-uiev is equal to XUA compatible content, IE equal to H. What does this mean? This means we can run application in IE 8, Internet Explorer 8. For that particular reason, we will be including this meta file. So what we are trying to say is, we are declaring the content types here. Say another metadata we are using, that is http-equuiv equal to content type, and content equal to text or HTML character step UTF-8. So this means we are using it for other browsers. Your application need to run in all browsers. So for that, we need to use a metadata, because whatever the code you write, that has to be translated and used by that browser. So the translation and everything will be happening with these two particular tags. Those are meta tags. And after declaring these tags, after saying that in application that use this program in IE8 and other browsers. Now we have declared the information. Now then, this is the main part of any UI5 application. We call it as Bootstrap. Bootstrap is nothing but first thing which is loaded when your index.html file is called. This is the script. So normally when we write JavaScript, we use script tag, and inside that we will be using it. So in this script tag, we are saying, we are giving the source of resources. The first library, the core library for SAP UI5 is SAP UI core. So that particular file is available in resources / SAP UI-core.js. So once we have this, then we will be giving ID. SAP UI Bootstrap, and then we include the libraries. Our target audience are desktop and tablet, so that is why we have used SAP UI Commons. And another one, the theme, look and feel. The theme is always used for look and feel. So I'm using SAP_Blue Crystal. And we can add other libraries also. See, you can add SAP UI Table, SAP UI UX3, or other libraries like this using data-SAP UI libraries. And that's it. So there's a close of script, and there's a body class, SAP UI.body. This class will be available in this particular theme. So this is all framework related information. Nothing you are going to write. Now whatever you're going to write is what you're going to see. Before writing, an empty page will be displayed with this particular file. So role application. So we are trying to say here is the role of this program is an application. The div is ID content. So we are just taking an empty div with an ID. So whatever we write, we can place it here in this content. First, we'll execute this program and we have to see an empty page because we haven't written any code as of now. So we'll run. Always right click on the project and press run as and run on server. I'll tell you there are two ways of running the program also. This is one way. Always choose the Tomcat and finish. And there's a checkbox. If you always want to run your application on this Tomcat, you can do that. And I'm not going to do every time it will be popping up. That's not a problem. I'll say finish. When I click on finish, here are some errors, but you can ignore this. That's not a problem. Started and synchronized your application. That's it. So copy this and you can paste it in any of the browser, but I am using Google Chrome. See, this is an empty page. Display. That's it, because we haven't written any code. So what I'm trying to do is, now I'll close this tab and I'll write a button. For using button, I'll tell you how the button library is. First, what we have to do is, in JavaScript, we have to take a variable where it always starts with var. First var, then variable name. I'm saying btn as button. Always use a new because we are trying to get an instance of that particular control. What control we are using? Button. So button control is sap.ui.commons.button. Okay, this is what. And I want to place this button dot place at reference content. Why I'm writing content? Because here in this div we want to place. Okay, we have taken a reference and we are placing it there. So in this button there are certain properties. So what are the properties? First is text, and there are events also. First I'll show you the text and then we'll see the events. Text. Press me and I'll save. Okay, done. So now after saving, in the server we have to check whether it is synchronized. It's always need to be synchronized. Then only your changes will be same. If it says restart or republish, you have to do that operation. How you going to do is right click there, and if it says publish, publish it. If you ask for restart, restart it. So it says synchronized, so it's good to go. And here we're gonna refresh it, and here we are seeing the button. Press me. So this is how we create a simple control button. So this is how we have created a button, and we'll see how the button properties, what are the button properties and what are the events related to button. SAP, what they have provided is they have provided development kit, that is SAPUI. If you type here SAPUI5.netgear.ondemand.com/SDK, then you'll get this. So this is what this UI5 development kit. So they have released this kit, and you can see the release notes of this as well. So there are so many things. It's not working. The release notes, you can see somewhere inside it. So there are API references development kit. So now we have created a button control. Now we'll see button control